Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Forge. It's been a while. I'm DML, and today we do a bit of an unboxing now. Bit of a story behind this one. I've started getting into axes recently. Prior to this, I hadn't really been into axes much. It was always, you know, kukris and knives. But I've started getting into axes, and I heard about these slip fit axes made in Spain. Basque axes, they're called. And there's a fella there, he's one of the last people around apparently that make these. So of course, being something that's a bit different, a bit unique, and something that's used to be quite well regarded in the axe community was these Basque axes. Now, up till a couple of years ago, they were heralded as being amazing value for money and absolute brilliant performers, outperforming a lot of your more popular brands like Ransford's Brook and stuff like that, which I do have some of those as well. I've always just bought them and used them, but anyway. So they fell out of grace for a while. So I've waited a couple of years. Well, I haven't waited a couple of years. It's been a couple of years since then. And now that I'm getting into axes, I wondered, have they come good again? So originally they're having some quality issues. So I'm hoping that that's been fixed, but we'll find out in a minute. Today I'll be opening with the Mighty Mouse. It's one of my designs. It's probably one of the smallest knives I've designed. It's a little belt knife. And I'll be unboxing with that today. So let's see how we're going to do this. So much simpler. All right, I wasn't expecting packing foam, so let's just see if we can sort this out without getting all that packing foam everywhere. There we go, which we can. So I got the 1 kilogram pruning axe is what they've called this one. I didn't want to go for anything too massive. I was tempted, but I thought with everything I use an axe for, I really don't need a full-size heavy axe. So I thought I'll just get a pruning axe. The handle isn't that much longer than their felling axe. It is lighter though, so let's see how this goes. It doesn't want to let go. I believe this one didn't come with a cover either, so I'll have to sort one of those out when I get the chance as well. But I just wanted to test it out first. Here we go. Wow. Alright, so first things first, one of the issues people were having with these when the quality wasn't that great is that they said that they were really roughly ground and they weren't really polishing them. There was no real polish on them. First impression of this is, yeah, it's polished. It's a friction fit axe, so similar to a tomahawk, but obviously we're talking full size instead. Don't know what that is. I don't know what that is there. There's a little blob or something on there. Don't know. But yeah, so it's a slip fit, similar to a tomahawk, which I found really interesting, and I actually really like the idea of that. Full-sized axe, but slip fit. The geometry on these is what people seem to be finding absolutely incredible. And I can see why. If you look down that bit there, it just tapers into nothing. Like, that is super duper thin. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how that performs on some Australian gum. Let's see how that goes. The handle's nice and thin and light, but it's very comfortable. So I shouldn't have to do too much work to get this thing fully operational. So I'm not seeing too many flaws on it. As I said, there was some bits and pieces here, like dollops of something. I don't even know what it is. I want to see if they clean off. And I might even pop this handle off and give it a bit of a sand back as well. But this is their 1 kilogram. I think that's the total weight, not the head weight, but the total weight. Limbing axe or pruning axe, they call it. But for me, this is more than enough axe to fell a small tree and all that kind of business with as well. We'll have to see how it goes splitting as well, considering how fine that bit is. But looking down the handle and the bit, it is perfectly aligned with the edge, and the head looks pretty bloody symmetrical actually. It's hard to tell because of how well polished it is, which was an issue they had before, but yeah, it's not a hickory handle either. It's a, can't remember the wood they said this was, but it's not a hickory handle, so we'll see how that goes as well, because I'm used to the hickory on my tomahawks and stuff. So we'll pause the video here and we'll go hit some stuff straight out of the box and see how it goes. Alright, so we're back. Now, I was checking through the rest of the packaging and I was mistaken. What I found was it in fact did actually have a cover. Now, it's actually quite a nice leather cover as well. There's no welt in there, but these studs here would stop the edge going through. So, and it's similar to like your belt buckle. So it'll tighten as this stretches, you can tighten it further and all that kind of business. So it's a lightweight but nicely made leather mask. So I was mistaken about that. It did come with one, and for that I'm really happy, because I didn't think I'd need to. I thought I'd need to actually purchase one separately, and I thought that kind of soured the note a little bit, but I was in fact wrong. It came with a mask. So this wood here, if I have my identification correct, is ironbark. And with such a thin bit as what this has, I don't think regularly it would hold up to this kind of wood. Maybe a bit of spotted gum or something, but I don't think it would normally hold up to something like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to test it anyway, just gently at first, and see how the heat treatment is. So if it's too soft, the edge will roll, and it would probably do that pretty quick, I'd imagine. And if it's too hard, a piece of the edge will break out, and then I'll just have to buy another one and not use it on ironbark. But as far as Aussie hardwoods go, this stuff's pretty hard. So I'll just check the frame, make sure I'm in frame. All right, so we're going to do some chops up here by the looks. I'm going to get down on my knees and swing this, just for safety's sake, because I've heard some people say these glance. I don't know how, with how fine a geometry they've got, but apparently they do. So we'll start here, eh? Ooh, didn't stick, and it bit pretty deep. Yeah, all right. That felt really good. All right. There's the glance. So that's what they're talking about. Now I reckon if you break an edge off one of these, that'd be how you do it. Yeah, handle's got a bit of flex to it as well. It's biting pretty deep. And I'm not feeling a whole lot of shock through the handle either, which I'm kind of impressed by. All right, well, I haven't removed all the chip yet, but I'll bring this down and give you a look at how this is looking at the moment. So you look here and here, that was done with World Walker, that was done for my Gransfors Brooks Hunter's axe, and this is with a Basque axe. So obviously with these two I was standing at the log and putting my full body weight into the chops. This one I was on my knees and I haven't actually taken the chip out yet. So I'm pretty impressed. I've got to say I'm pretty impressed. That's really good. As for the edge, let's have a look at that. It's Not blemished at all, not even a little. And it doesn't really stick either, like that lifts straight out pretty much. I really like that. There's no pole, and the balance is going to be obviously slightly, well, it's only very slightly edge heavy, like barely at all, which is kind of impressive because normally you keep the pole for balance. It doesn't seem to really need it much. And as you can see, the polish there is actually really nice as well. So the Urnieta Basque axes, are they back? Are they good to go? Find out. I'm going to keep using this for a bit more. Bloody beautiful though, for a hand forged, well, that's what they reckon, that these are hand forged. So for a hand forged piece, and being designed to be just exactly that, just a tool, nothing too fancy, just a tool. This is actually really beautiful. I like this a lot. All right, I'll do some more chopping and we'll get back to you in a sec. This is ridiculous. What? All right, so what do I think of the 1 kilo Urnieta pruning axe? So far, out of all of my axes, this is the best. Quite easily the best, actually. I'm really super impressed with it. As for the edge, now I think I saw, yeah, one slight deformation right there. I don't know if I'm catching the light on it or not, but you should be able to see it right where my thumb is. It's the slightest little reflection where the edge has kind of not chipped or even sort of, I don't know, it doesn't even feel like it's rolled much, but it's just deviated slightly where I've hit something hard and it's deflected and pulled the edge. But what that tells me is actually something really good, is that the blade is correctly tempered. It will bend rather than chip out. And for me, that's important. I can fix rolls, I can fix slight warps and stuff. I can't fix massive chips coming out of the edge. So yeah, definitely this is the best axe that I currently own, and it's definitely not the most expensive. So really happy with this. I'll initial impressions, just cutting that tree in half, that didn't take long at all. Now, I mean, it's not in half yet, but it will be very shortly. The next thing I just need to check is fine work and splitting. So we'll do that on camera and then we'll wrap it up from there. Not the best splitter, but that's not the best wood either. Still did it. Have a quick look at fine work as well. Obviously out of the box, and this is like dead dry wood, so it should, yeah, I knew it would do pretty well with this. That fine edge geometry, even with the flaring and all that kind of stuff, and all the little nuances that they've put into this grind. This is like dead easy, hey? In fact, the fact that there's no pole on this actually makes this kind of stuff even easier, I found. Yeah, so all of your fine stuff, fine work, it'll do all that really easily actually, and really well. So I'm actually pretty convinced that I'd be able to like prepare my dinner with this without too much issue. The edge is fine enough, I feel like it would slice food and stuff quite well. Not saying I would do that. I've got a knife for that kind of thing, but if I had to, I reckon it would be able to do it. That's all I'm saying. So, conclusion. What are my final impressions of the Basque axe? Are they back to their former glory? Didn't get a chance to play with their old ones, so I don't know if they're back to their former glory, but I can tell you right now that the way this performs, it has blown my mind. It is by far the best sort of felling, limbing, and bucking axe that I own. It carves better than any other axes that I own as well, so it's just overall superior to pretty much anything I own. Super comfortable to use. I found out this is beechwood. So I've owned this for a couple of days now, so I did a bit of research, and yeah, it's beechwood, so it's lighter, but it's also far less durable than hickory. So if you could get a hickory haft for this, which it's slip fit, that should be easily enough done, then yeah, probably go for the hickory, I reckon. It might add a bit of weight, but it'll be worth it overall in durability. Other than that, maybe just like me, need to skill up a little bit, get a bit better with looking after the handle, and it should be fine. Edge through everything I've done. I did a little bit of beating on the edge as well with some of the abusive chopping, like cutting out knots, that kind of thing that I did. The edge is fine. There's a couple little deflections. They will actually sharpen out. I had a look at the deflection from my previous part of this video as well, and it was exactly the same. Literally, I just got my whetstone from Gabriel Warren over at Natural Whetstones. He's still making them now and then if you're lucky enough, and I just touched it up, literally just following the geometry and touching it up with the stone, and it took all those reflections away. So it removed those tiny little deflections and, you know, brought it back to I mean, I wasn't trying to sharpen, I was just trying to see if it'd take the reflections away, and it did. So that's all this performance so far has been out of the box. The only thing I did was put a coating of oil on the handle because it tore some of my callus off, so I was just like, yeah, I might want to smooth that out a little bit and just see how we go with that. Didn't really do anything to the edge, and just sort of gave it a bit of a clean and an oil, that's it. So yeah, absolutely amazing axes. And like I said, it was cheaper than my Gransfors. I think it was almost half the price of one of my Gransfors. I got the Hunter's axe, and this far superior in performance. Nice thin handle, so comfort and vibration is better than what it would be with the Hunters as well. I don't know, it's just better. It's better than almost anything I own. Well, it is better than everything I own, so I'm really blown away by that. And for the people that are going to say, yeah, but what's your experience like with axes? Well, growing up, I used them on and off throughout my whole life, you know, like I lived in the country for bits and pieces of my life, and I was splitting wood, cutting down trees, that kind of thing. Nothing too advanced, nothing too crazy, but, you know, so I've got quite a few years now of experience using these. But it's only recently that I got into the more sort of higher quality axes. Before it was always, you know, your store-bought sort of axes that over time, everyone's like, oh yeah, the old axes were brilliant. Well, that's because they were actually refined. Their geometry and everything was refined through use and resharpening and stuff. So I got to use those as well. And this beats them too, by the way. It's just, yeah, so I've got a bit of experience, not a whole lot. I'm not an expert. I'm not a lumberjack or anything, or a forestry worker, but just a dude on a property swinging sharp things because he likes it. Yep. All right, that'll do for my conclusions. Are they back to their former glory? Don't know, but they're definitely glorious. I love this thing, and it's definitely coming with me on my camping trips from now on, especially being able to replace that handle is going to be good. All right, cheers guys. Thank you for your continued interest in the Forge, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.